So how bad is it out there? So in today's video, let's talk about dealerships and brand new equipment. How much are they suffering? Is it as bad as trucking companies? Well, I think it might be even a little worse for them. In today's video, we'll talk about cancellations and what happens when a fleet cancels their orders or an owner operator. What happens when they cancel their order on a dealership? We'll also talk about interest that the dealerships are paying on these units. Now you got to remember that these units are about $200,000 a pop. So when a dealership has 40 or 50 trucks standing on their lot, just like this dealership over here, what does that actually mean money-wise? So without further ado, let's get started. First, we'll talk about cancellations, fleets-wise and owner-operators. So if I, for example, as a fleet owner, I put an order of 10 or 15 Volvos for 2024. I usually order a year before, so all of my orders for vans, reefers, flatbeds, and trucks have went in 2023, and I usually spread my order out in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. But when I see that there's a huge downshift in the economy, and I see that freight rates are horrible, and when I see that interest rates are through the roof, and I see no light at the end of the tunnel in our industry, then I might end up calling my dealership where I ordered these brand new equipment, and I might tell them, hey, listen, we might need to hold off Q1 and Q2 orders to Q3 and Q4. Or sometimes, a lot of the times, what could happen is that the trucking company, especially when they're stranded for cash, they can't take on more debt on their books, so they would have to, or they would be forced to call the dealership and say, hey, we're really sorry, we have to cancel that order. Now, whether it's the Volvo, the Freightliners, the Internationals, the Kenworths, they are all getting orders canceled on them left, right, and center. Not just from small fleet owners, from bigger fleets. Bigger fleets are maybe decreasing the amount that they ordered. So for example, if they ordered 50, they might say, you know what, we'll only take 25 this year. We're sorry, we have to put a cancellation on the 25 orders. Now, owner operators also might have placed an order 6 months ago or 8 months ago when their trucks are coming in and they're going to see their new monthly payments with these outrageous interest rates. They might back out of their deal and lose their $5,000 or $7,000 that they put as a deposit. So cancellations are a real thing for these dealerships. Now, what happens when a cancellation happens, or if you have 30 or 40 trucks on your lot? Well, take into account that each one of these units, that these dealerships are actually buying them for $190,000 or $195,000. They're really only marking it up by $10,000, $15,000 or $20,000. But this $190,000, they actually have a certain amount of days to pay off the OEM. So for example, if I was a dealership and I bought 20 trucks from Volvo, I would really have 30 to 45 days or 60 days to pay off Volvo. That means that within 30 or 45 days, now I have to have my internal line of credit or my internal whatever access to funds that I have to pay off that balance. Now, if I don't, I get heavy interest rates from the finance company or Volvo Finance or Freightliner or wherever you're getting these trucks from. Now they're paying interest rates. Now these interest rates can consume the dealership. What do I mean by that? So if you have 40 or 50 trucks that you've ordered and you have standing on your lot, that's almost equivalent to about $800 to $900 per truck per month. Now if you have 40 or 50 of them standing and you can't move them, that's about $40,000, $50,000 every single month that the dealership is coming out at a loss just by having those trucks there. Now, if a dealership has 40, 50, or 60 units standing in their lot, I can assure you that in order to move this equipment, they're going to take a huge loss, meaning that if they bought the truck for $195 and they thought they were going to sell it at $225, well, now they're going to be giving off crazy discounts, $10,000, $50,000, anything just to get these trucks off of their lot. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, nor do I see anything happening or fixing itself within the next 3 to 6 months. What does that mean? That these 40, 50, 60 power units are going to be standing on the lot and they're going to be paying $50,000, $60,000 worth of interest rates just on having these units parked. Now, you might feel sorry for these dealerships, but let's take a step back and go into last year or the year before that, when they used to buy the equipment for $195,000 and then they used to sell it for about $265,000 or $270,000 to us, the consumer, and you owner operators out there and small fleet owners out there. Now, the OEMs couldn't do anything about the resale value. Why? Because if a dealership has bought in the truck for $195, they have the right to sell it for whatever price that they want. So when they saw that there were too many orders, not enough trucks, they used to jack up their prices significantly. I remember from one of our OEMs, they came back to us with about a $20,000 or $30,000 increase year over year just on a certain make and model that we purchase. Now, they were not the Freightliners, but I won't tell you who they were. So we just stopped buying those trucks altogether. Now, guess what happens a year or two later? They're knocking on the doors again. But I can assure you that when I'm going to be buying trucks, especially from those guys that tried to stiff me when the times were tough and I was looking for assets, well, I'm going to be doing the same thing to them right now, where they're going to try to move a truck for $200,000 and I'll give them a low ball offer at 170 or 175. If they want to move that truck, well, guess what? They're going to take the hit, just like they wanted me to take the hit when the times were in reverse. So for all you owner operators or truck drivers that want to buy trucks right now, all I have to say to you guys is hold off. Okay, don't get into whatever deal you think you're getting right now, whatever the dealership is offering you right now. I guarantee you that that discount is going to be ×2 or ×3 come 3 months from now. Okay, so in 3 months and in 5 months, it's actually going to be worse than it is today. The market will not correct itself that fast. There are hundreds and hundreds of brand new units parked at dealerships. I mean, the ones here in the GTA, they're small dealerships. In the US, there are huge dealerships with so many vans, reefers, flatbeds, just so much brand new units. You know, they're standing and parked right now and you cannot move them because there's no freight and no owner operator, no small fleet owner, and no larger fleet owners are getting into big purchases like they did a couple of years ago. I will be doing the auction results in the latest Ritchie Brothers auctions to see how the used market is doing. Every single month I do one of these videos where I talk about the equipment, the 4-year-old, 3-year-old, and 2-year-old equipment that's being sold at the Ritchie Brothers auctions, and we can determine based on the new equipment and the used equipment what's happening in our industry. Now, I can assure you, if you like this video, you're actually gonna like the last video that I did on the Ritchie Brothers auctions, because it tells you on what's happening with our used equipment and how cheap you can buy a 2-year-old truck. So what will 2024 hold? Well, in my prediction, I truly believe that nothing is going to change over the next 4 to 5 months. I don't think the industry is going to get any better at all. I truly believe that we are going to see at least another 6 months and a lot more closures happening over the next 6 months because people's cash flows are getting stranded and there's a lot of double brokering and a lot of non-payments happening around. And this is what's taking companies under because there is no cash flow or the pockets are just not deep enough because people spent a lot of the money that they made when they should have actually reserved it and put it for a tough time like it is right now. So hopefully you learned something from this video. I'm Ronen, R-O-N-E-N, and I wish all these dealerships the best of luck and to hold on because it's gonna get worse before it gets any better.
Hey, do you have an app, product, device, or technology that can benefit our North American truck drivers? Well, guess what? You can become a featured sponsor in one of our next videos. With a vast community of over 450,000 truck drivers across all our platforms and an impressive 9 million monthly views, I can definitely bring your product out to the spotlight. You want to be a part of our community? Join all these companies that have already partnered with us. Interested? Well, email me at sponsorships@ettransport.ca. And now, back to that video.